Greetings. Today's episode relates to growing anger against British rule when Bostonians hung stamp distributor Andrew Oliver in Effigy. Before getting started, I would encourage you to subscribe to the Mossy Feet Books YouTube channel for more great content. If you like my videos, please hit the like button. The more likes I get, the more YouTube will show it to other people, allowing me to grow the channel. I also encourage you to visit my website, www.mossyfeetbooks.com. There you will find sample chapters, podcasts, a slew of content, and links to where you can buy my books. While visiting the website, you can subscribe to it and receive email notifications of when I publish a new book or other content like this video and podcast. This episode is based on my book, A Day in United States History, Book 1. If you like what I'm doing, please purchase a book, as it helps fund my work. The British Parliament's passage of the Stamp Act to pay for the French and Indian War in 1765 created massive protest in Britain's North American colonies. Street protests broke out in many of the cities. The Crown had appointed Andrew Oliver to oversee the collection of the tax. Furious protesters hung Oliver in effigy during a protest on August the 14th, 1865. The French and Indian War was a North American version of a much larger conflict between France and England called the 7 Years' War. The war raged from 1756 through 1763 and set the stage for many of the events that led to the American Revolution 12 years later. Britain defeated the French and took Canada from them. The expense of the war had put Britain in serious financial straits. Parliament passed the Stamp Act in 1765. It required that all legal documents, magazines, newspapers, and other types be printed on stamped paper. To get the stamp required printers to pay a tax. The tax proved unpopular in the colonies and led to massive protests. Parliament repealed the Stamp Act on March 18, 1766. The cost imposed by the tax caused a temporary cessation of publication for the Georgia Gazette. This was true for many other publications as well. After repeal, Johnson resumed publication of his paper. Andrew Oliver lived from March the 28th, 1706 until March the 3rd, 1774. The son of Daniel Oliver and Elizabeth Belker Oliver, Andrew was native of Boston. After graduating from Harvard in 1724, Oliver joined his brother Peter in the family's wine and textile business. Their efforts proved successful, and in a few years their business dominated Boston's waterfront. Oliver married twice, first to Mary Fitch in 1728. Mary passed away in 1732 after having 3 children. Oliver then married Mary Sanford in 1734, with whom he will have 14 children. Oliver won election as Boston's auditor in 1737 and to the Massachusetts Assembly in 1742. Massachusetts Governor Spencer Phipps appointed him provincial secretary in 1755. 10 years later, he received a commission from the British Crown to act as agent to collect revenue generated by the Stamp Act. Though he personally opposed the act, he took the position, enraging the local patriots. A crowd of protesters gathered on Boston's south side at the corner of Essex and Orange Streets. A huge elm stood at that intersection, which would later become known as Liberty Elm. The protesters had constructed an effigy of Andrew Oliver as well as a Greenville soul. This was a green boot that represented George Grenville, who had introduced the Act to Parliament, and John Stuart, the 3rd Earl of Bute, who had proposed the cider tax. Stuart served as Prime Minister from 1762 through 1763. The rioters hung the effigy of Oliver and the Greenville soul. Lieutenant Governor Thomas Hutchinson, alarmed at the unrest, ordered Boston's sheriff to remove the effigy. The crowd prevented him from doing this, thus closing the street for the entire day. By evening, the mob had cut down the effigy and held a mock funeral procession that went first to the townhouse, the legislature seat, and then to the Oliver's office. They tore the office down and paraded to Oliver's home. After they arrived at his home, they beheaded the effigy. The crowd stoned officials that tried to disperse them, then burned Oliver's horse stables and looted his home. By the next morning, the violence died down. In fear of his life and family's life, Oliver resigned the commission. the next day. Written into this day in history format, each of the 2 books in this collection of North American colonial history events includes 366 history stories. The historical collection of tales includes many well-known as well as some little-known events in the saga of the United States. The easy-to-follow This Day in History format covers a wide range of people, places, and events of early American history. It is the first book in my series, 366 Days in History series. Each book includes 366 stories of American history. It is available with many other titles on gardening, Indiana places in history, and other books, the garden books. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.